Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jackie and today we're doing an after workout full body stretch to help you recover and minimize tightness and soreness. It is so important to stretch after working out in order to help us gain back that flexibility and lengthen out those muscles so we can continue moving and working out in our full range of motion. Today's stretching sequence is going to be perfect whether you've done a HIIT class, CrossFit, running, weights training, or if you're just looking for a nice full body stretch. Please feel free to stay in the stretches for as long as you want. And before we get started, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon so you can be notified when I upload a new video. So let's set up our mats and get stretching. Let's start in a seated position and bring the hands to interlace behind the back. Take a breath in, pull the hands down, roll the shoulders back, squeeze the shoulder blades together. Take your gaze towards the sky, and then keeping that length in the spine and pulling down with the hands, let's tuck the chin to the chest. Roll your head from side to side. Yeah, getting a nice stretch through the back of the neck and the tops of the shoulders. And keep pulling down with your hands. Keep pressing the shoulders down and back. And then let's come back up to the center, release the hands. Let's cross the right arm over and hook the left arm underneath. The right hand is facing towards the back of the mat, thumbs pointing upwards. And we should be getting a nice stretch through the upper arms and the back of the shoulders. So we'll take a couple of breaths here. Keep breathing in deeply to regain that oxygen in your body after your workout. And then let's point the thumb down towards the mat and turn the palm so it's facing the front of your mat. And we'll be getting a nice internal rotation of the arms here. And then release the hands and we'll cross over. Left arm across the body, right arm underneath. Palm facing the back of the mat, thumbs pointing upwards. Getting that nice stretch across the upper arm and shoulders. Again, keep taking those breaths deep into your belly. And then let's point the thumb downwards, palm facing the front of your mat. And then releasing the hands. And we'll come into a tricep stretch, reaching the right arm over top. Left hand holds onto the elbow, gently pulling the elbow towards your head. And if you want a deeper stretch, you want to reach your right hand towards your right shoulder. You'll be getting a nice stretch through your right tricep here. Really great after doing a lot of weights training or push-ups. And then let's swap over towards the other side. Left arm bends, right hand on the left elbow, gently pulling the elbow towards your head and reaching your left hand towards your left shoulder. And then let's release the hand and we'll straighten out the legs coming into a forward fold. And just make sure you're sitting right on top of your sit bones. Let's flex through the feet, pull up through the kneecaps and press the backs of the knees down into the mat. And then reach the arms up and then fold forward, just holding on to whatever you can. Keep pressing the backs of the knees down towards your mat. Keep flexing your toes towards your knees. And we'll hold here for a few breaths. Gently stretching out the backs of our legs. We should be getting a nice hamstring stretch here. Maybe you can feel yourself getting deeper into the stretch with every breath out. And really try to let yourself relax into this position. And maybe dropping your head down. And on the next breath in, let's come back up. And we'll bring the soles of the feet together to touch, coming into our butterfly pose. And then let the knees drop down towards the mat. And just choose whether or not you bring the feet closer towards your body or further away. It just stretches slightly different in the body, and depending on how your body is built, it might be more comfortable one way or the other. And maybe this is enough for you, or maybe you want to walk your hands forward and then come down, maybe dropping the head. And just try to relax those muscles to allow the knees to fall down towards the mat. And then keep taking your breath deep into your belly. Trying to relax with every breath out, letting those knees sink down further towards the mat with every exhale. And on the next breath in, let's walk our body back up. And we'll come into a half butterfly, stretching the left leg out to the side, bringing the right foot a little bit closer towards the body, and just shifting the hips back. Let's reach the left hand over the left leg, and then right arm sweeps up over top, coming into a nice side bend. Try to ground down through both of your sit bones so we're not lifting up through the hip. And then stretching the left fingertips further away from your body to get that nice stretch through the right side. And then keep those breaths nice and long and deep. And breathing out, let's turn to face our left leg, coming into a bend on this side. So left and right hand reaches down towards the left leg. And we should be getting that stretch a little bit further back on our right side. Keep pressing the right knee and the right hip down towards the mat. Okay, and on the next breath in, let's come back up and we'll swap sides. So left leg in, right leg out. Sitting nice and tall in your sit bones, right hand comes over the right leg. Left arm sweeps up over top, coming into your side bend. Reaching those left fingertips further away from the body, grounding down through the left hips and the knees. And taking that breath all the way down into your belly. And then breathing out, turn to face your right leg. Left hand comes down, folding forward on this side. Grounding down still through the left knee and the left hip. And feeling that stretch slightly more towards your back on the left side. And on the next breath in, let's come back up. And we're coming into our full straddle, so both legs out this time. And just choose where you want your V, how deep or how narrow you want it. And then press your hips back so you're really sitting right on top. Flex the feet, pull up through the kneecaps. Maybe this is enough for you today, depending on what you've done. Or maybe you want to walk the hands forward and come into your full straddle pose. And this is quite an intense stretch, so keep that breath coming deep into your body. And then try to release any grip you have on any muscles with every exhale. You should be getting a nice stretch through the inside of both legs here. One more breath. And on the next breath in, let's walk ourselves back up. Great job. And then let's make our way to all fours. And just bring the knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath the shoulders. And let's extend the right leg back, flexing through the foot. Press through the heel of that right leg so we're getting a stretch through the right calf muscle. Really great if you've done some running to stretch out those calf muscles because they must be feeling tight. And then let's release through that leg and we'll stretch out the left leg. Flex through the foot and press through the heel of that foot. Try to keep your hips nice and square so we're not lifting up, but the hip bones are both pointing down towards the mat. And on the next breath in, let's make our way all the way to our downward facing dog. Just take a moment here. Maybe you want to walk out your feet. And then let's take our right knee into the chest and then place the foot in between the hands, lower the back knee, untuck the foot, come into our lunge pose. So let's bring both hands up towards the right knee and gently drop and sink your hips down towards the mat, coming a little bit deeper into that pose. And you should be getting also a nice stretch through that left hip flexor or the front of the hip. And maybe you want to stay up with your hands. Maybe you want to bring both hands on the inside of that right leg. Just depends how you're feeling in your body today. Maybe you even want to come all the way down onto your elbows. So just take the variation that suits you today, depending on the workout you've done and depending on how open your body is today. We'll stay here for a few breaths. Again, try to let that breath come all the way deep into your belly. And then let yourself relax into this position with every out breath. If you notice yourself tensing in any area, just try to release with every exhale. And if you're up on your elbows, let's come back up onto the hands. And we'll come into a quad stretch. Staying in your lunge, let's bend through the left leg. Take the right arm back. See if you can hold on to that foot. If you can't, maybe you want to grab a strap or a scarf to help pull you. Otherwise, you're just reaching and trying to bend that left leg towards your hand, and you should be creating space. Otherwise, we're holding onto that leg and gently pulling it towards your body to get a nice quad stretch. Really great after doing lots of squats and lunges to stretch out your quad. So again, take that breath deep into your belly. Notice if you're holding on to any muscles anywhere. See if you can let them go. Let them become loose. Let them become soft. And you'll notice that when you do that, the pose becomes so much more comfortable. And you're able to get deeper into that stretch. Okay, let's release that leg. Bring the hands back down. Tuck the foot. And we'll come back to our downward facing dog. Take another moment here. Do whatever you need to. And maybe noticing the difference now between both sides now that you're stretched out through one hip and one quad. And on the next breath, let's bring the left knee into the chest. Place the foot in between the hands, lower the back knee, untuck the toes. And let's bring the hands up towards the left knee. And then breathe out, drop the hips, sink the hips down towards the mat. Stretch through the right hip flexors and both hips. Maybe staying up or bringing the hands down to the mat. Maybe even coming all the way down to your elbows. Taking a few breaths here. Try to let yourself sink down into the pose. Let your hips melt down towards the mat. And then if you have your elbows down on the mat, let's come back up onto the hands. And let's bend through that right leg. Reach the left hand back, either holding on or just reaching towards that back leg. And then if you're holding on, gently pulling it towards your body, getting that stretch through the right quad. Try to let your hips continue to sink down towards the mat. Take the energy of your breath to any areas that are feeling tight. And then let go of all the muscles that you don't need to be holding on to with every out breath. And then let's release through that leg. Bring the hand back down towards the mat. Tuck the right toes, step back into your downward facing dog. Take another moment here. Notice how your body is feeling now that we've equalized through both sides. And on the next breath, let's bring the right knee into the chest again, coming into our pigeon pose. Flex through the right foot and place the ankle towards the left wrist, right knee towards the right wrist, and then drop the back knee. And you might need to just make your way, shuffle back. And then if you can, you're dropping the hips down towards the mat. Otherwise, you might want to place a blanket or a cushion underneath your right hip. And maybe we're staying upright, keeping that right foot flexed. Or maybe you want to walk your hands forward, maybe even onto the elbows. Just take it as far as comfortable for you today. There's no need to force yourself into any of these positions. Just listen to your body and be gentle after your workout. This is all about just gaining a little bit of flexibility and mobility back in the body. So take a few breaths here. Send that energy of the breath into that right hip and the right glutes. See if you can relax with every out breath. Notice if you're holding on to any muscles anywhere. Maybe it takes you a few rounds of breath to figure out if you are holding on, and another few rounds to figure out how to release those muscles. Just take your time. Holding for another breath here. And if you're down on your elbows, let's come back up onto the hands and let's all tuck the left foot and we'll make our way back to downward facing dog. Again, taking just a moment here, noticing the difference between the two sides of the body. And then when you're ready, let's bring the left knee into the chest, flex through that foot, bring the ankle towards the right wrist, left knee towards the left wrist, and then drop the back knee and then shuffle yourself back. And maybe you come all the way down, maybe you're placing a cushion or a blanket underneath the left hip. And then staying upright if this is enough of a stretch for you. Or maybe you're walking your hands forward, maybe even coming down to your elbows. Keep flexing through that left foot. Keep breathing deeply into your belly. And you may notice that both sides are completely different. Maybe this side is feeling a lot tighter, and that is normal. Our bodies are not exactly perfect. They're not exactly symmetrical. And just taking one more breath here. And if you're on your elbows, let's make our way back up onto our hands. And we'll all tuck our right foot and make our way back to downward facing dog. Again, just taking a moment here, noticing the effects of the stretch now balanced out on both sides. And then let's bend the knees and we'll make our way all the way down onto our bellies. We'll come into a seal pose. So coming onto our elbows. Elbows are underneath the shoulders, and then reach the fingers and the hands towards the outside edges of the mat. And then lift up through the chest. Lift the head up, roll the shoulders back. Press your arms into the mat. So we're not sinking down, but we're pressing it down. So we're creating space in our shoulders, head, and neck. We should be getting a nice stretch through the front of the body, and especially if you've done a lot of ab work today, this should be feeling really great. If you're not feeling a stretch yet and you want to come deeper, what we'll do is press into the hands and come up, lifting the elbows off the mat. And this should be a nice deep stretch for the front of your body. So just take the variation that suits you today. And try to relax into the pose as much as you can. Taking a few deep breaths here. Try to relax your glutes if you're holding on to them. We'll take another breath here. And wherever you are, let's come all the way back down. And push back into a child's pose. Let's bring the knees wide. Heels of the foot down and feet together. Let's walk the fingertips out and drop the chest and the forehead down to the mat. Reach your fingertips further away from your body, so you're getting a nice stretch through the spine and the sides of the body. And we'll finish here today. Take a few deep breaths in through the nose. Maybe you want to sigh it out through your mouth. Letting go of any last bits of tension in your body. See if you can sink down even further with every out-breath, melting your heart down towards the mat and sinking your hips closer towards the heels of your feet, and stretching the fingertips further away from your body. Take the breath deep into your belly. Find your full relaxation in this pose. And maybe you want to stay here longer. Otherwise, let's come back up and finish with our stretching today. Thank you so much for doing these stretches with me today. I hope you're feeling so much more relaxed. And remember, you can always come back to this video after any workout to help you cool down and recover. And if you like today's stretches, please give this video a thumbs up. And I can't wait to see you on the next one. Bye-bye.